Hello everyone, we are the first group and we will be discussing the major theories in international relations. First, let us define the theory of international relation. A theory of international relation is a set of ideas that explains how the international system works. In contrast to an ideology, a theory of international relation is supported by the hard data. Now, we have two major theories of international relation, the realism and the liberalism. But before defining the two, let us know what international relation and national interest is. International relation refer to a field of study and practice focused on understanding the unique relationship that exists between various nations and cultures. This relationship can impact everything from international politics, law, economics, to security, diplomacy, and governance. Moving on to national interest. Most theories of international relations are based on the idea that states always act in accordance with their national interest, or the interest of that particular state. Self-preservation, military security, economic success, and sway over other states are common examples of state interest. There are instances when national interests of two or more states coincide. For instance, two states may have desire to promote economic trade and peace. Furthermore, nations with radically divergent national interests may try to settle their disagreements through negotiation or even by going to war.
Let us now proceed to realism. So, realism is a straightforward approach to international relations, stating that all nations are working to increase their own power. On those countries that manage to hoard most efficiently will thrive, as they can easily eclipse the achievement of less powerful nation. The theory further states that a nation's foremost interest should be self-preservation, and that the continually gaining power should always be a social, economic, and political imperative. So next is liberalism, or also called as liberal internationalism. Liberalism is based on the belief that the current global system is capable of engendering a peaceful world order. Liberalism emphasizes international collaboration as a means of advancing each nation's distinct interests rather than relying on direct force such as military action. Liberals contend that the cost of using force, such as property damage and mortality among the civilian population, far outweigh any potential advantages. As a result, liberal leaders typically favor using economic and social power to further their country's aims. For instance, obtaining the agreement of a neighboring country to help secure a border. The use of economic strategies, such as bilateral trade agreements and international diplomacy, can be more successful in furthering political agendas than the threats of force in today's globalized society. So last is idealism. So what is idealism? Idealism is a subcategory of liberalism that emphasizes the necessities for nations to act morally and with integrity on a global scale. Idealists argue that conduct regarded immoral on a personal level equally violates moral principle when it comes to international policy.
Hi, my name is Day, and I will be talking about constructivism, Marxism, and functionalism. So first, let's talk about constructivism. So this theory emphasizes the role of ideas and perception in international relation. So it basically concerned with the role of identities and social practices in the international system. And the term constructivism was coined by American scholar called Nicholas Owen of 1989. And just so we know, the breakthrough of constructivism into international relations theory is usually associated with the end of the Cold War. And that is largely dominant paradigms at that time. So realism and liberalism, and a lot of people argue that these are the dominant theories today. These two theories couldn't really explain or predict the end of the Cold War. So constructivism tried to fill that gap between liberalism and realism. Karl Marx was a Prussian philosopher and economist who believed that by incorporating socialist theory in their national and international policies, civilization may avoid the self-destructive tendency of capitalist socio-economic system. Marxism is a philosophy that examines socio-economic classes in depth, seeks to overthrow the international system's capitalist framework because it contends that capitalism is no longer operationally viable in the contemporary world. During the Cold War, Marxism dominated the political landscape and sparked socialist revolution in nations like China, Vietnam, and Cuba. Functionalism. One of the modern theories of international relations is functionalism. Functionalism developed from ideas that states or national governments or state as a type of social organization. We are no longer the main actors in this international system. Specifically during World War I and II and the integration of Europe, this theory began to take shape. The premise that global integration or globalization is a process originating from the fulfillment of the shared interests of state is at the heart of its argument, which aims to refute realism. A system with a function that are more significant than the roles of individual players is produced by this global integration.
Good day, everyone. So now let's talk about the word feminism. I'm pretty sure that you guys are familiar with this one, but let's talk about this further. So let's start. Feminism. Gender issues are a significant concern within global politics, and feminism, as an international relations theory, seeks to regulate the power derived from or denied on the basis of an individual's gender. A wide phrase used to describe many concepts and models that are based on a specific theory of feminism are used to analyze the international system and related relationships is feminism and international relations theory. So according to the feminist international relations theory, the other international relations theories conceptions of power, dominance, and security are prejudiced towards women. It also makes the case for the necessity of comprehending how gender dynamics or women's roles affect how the international system is shaped. Other points of contention include examining how the idea of masculinity affected foreign policy and diplomatic relations, taking into account women as a group of participants in the international system and applying the idea of femininity to conflict resolution. Next one, let's talk about the green theory. So the green theory focuses on the international environmental cooperation. It explores the international system outside the scope of major theories by concentrating explicitly on cross-boundary or interstate issues relating to the ecology and environment. This is one of the radical theories of international relations. One of the main claims of the green theory is that existing theories of international relations are ignorant of ecological issues, the influence of the environment on the international system, and the interactions that result between various actors. An argument that is more specific claims that addressing ecological issues is essential to addressing the changes brought about by growing global integration and interdependence. Okay, so we've been talking about the international relations theory. So this time, let's talk about their importance. Let's begin. IR theory shows how policymakers view the world and how this affects on how they make their own decisions. Theory shapes their worldviews and informs their prejudices. Therefore, it merits investigation and analysis. Realism, liberalism, and constructivism are the three main schools of thought that make an effort to explain how each states behave. Through numerous lenses, each of which represents a particular theoretical perspective, Theories of IR enable us to comprehend and attempt to make sense of the world around us. They are methods for making a complex world simpler. International relations theory remains essential for understanding world events, explaining their causes, assessing their impacts, and proposing suitable solutions. By definition, IR is a relationship between the entities such that if they had not been in this relation, the nature of each would necessarily have been different. Meanwhile, diplomacy is the subset of international relations that is typically focused more narrowly around the process of conducting negotiations. Okay, so this is between the representative of different nations or, in some cases, corporations and other countries. Okay, so diplomacy and IR are frequently discussed together since they both deal with global issues. Though they are closely connected, diplomacy and IR do have different connotations and implications, which is something to keep in mind. So that's all.
Proceeding to why study international relations and diplomacy. Here's why. First is that you'll gain practical skills. The majority of studies in international relations and diplomacy are meant to educate students for job requiring cross-cultural communication. Graduates of International Relations program often acquire and hone the following abilities in addition to receiving specialized expertise in intercultural theory and approaches. Research and analytical skills to aid in the analysis of difficult issues and the synthesis of evidence to produce gripping narratives. Communication skills to effectively communicate through the variety of means including writing and vocal communication. Interpersonal skills help facilitate the development of positive relationships and among stakeholders, which is crucial while working in a multicultural or cross-cultural environment. Second is that it talks about politics. Career options are not all constrained to a political path, even while a degree in international affairs and diplomacy prepares professionals for a career in politics. People who study international relations go on to work with a variety of jobs and industries, including international business, military intelligence and analysis, national security, activism, and more because the skills they acquire in graduate school of international relations program are so transferable. Of course, a lot of students go on to work as diplomats in a variety of fields including environmental issues, climate change, conflict resolution, technology, science, human trafficking, global health, and preservation of cultural property. Next reason is that you can influence things. Regardless of specific job objectives, many people who study international relations and diplomacy do so out of the profound personal desire to improve the world. Diplomats, activists, and ambassadors who work in politics might attain their personal objectives by creating and enacting relevant policies that could enhance people's lives around the world. Conversely, people who use their degree to work in a business can also influence change. This expert could support the strategic and charitable operations of an organization or advocate for a particular piece of legislation before national and international government. Last is that you'll become fully immersed in the culture. You must fully immerse yourself in another culture if you want to be a successful international diplomat, ambassador, lobbyist, or business leader focused on a specific nation or region. Learning the language, customs, and culture of another nation is a requirement of the work. This can help you become more efficient at work while also allowing for profound personal growth and discovery, which is many people find to be incredibly satisfying. So, in conclusion, every theory has limitations. There wouldn't be a need for any others if one was effective in accurately accounting for behaviors and activities in international relations. You should be aware that international relations is still a young science that's still undergoing substantial formative development given the large number of various international relations theories. There are discussions about the nature of the state, the person, international organization, identity, and even reality itself within that development, discussion that can be rather abrasive at times. The crucial thing to keep in mind is that theories are analytical tools. When we use properly to comprehend an event, they are frequently pertinent and enlightening. However, they are frequently flawed, and you will find yourself turning to a more peaceful theoretical tool. With that, I want to end this discussion with this quote by James E. Doherty and Robert L. Falscraft saying, "Theory is nothing but a systematic reflections on phenomena, designed to explain them and to show how they are related to each other in a meaningful, intelligent pattern instead of being merely random items of an incoherent universe. Every discipline requires theory to guide research, to provide a basis for explanation, and if possible, to lead a probabilistic predictive capability." I am Trizia Pinto together with my groupmates Buluran, Feliciano, Gonzales, Martin, Parole, Perez Daisylene, Perez Khate, and Ramos. Thank you so much for listening and have a great day.